Hey everyone, I want to share with you a study about food order. And this is in the context of whether you eat your carbs first or your protein and your fats first, and then they switch to order on these subjects. Now it's a small subject pool, there's only about 11 subjects in this study, and they were diabetics and they were on medication with what they call metformin, which they use with diabetics. Now, where you can use this information is how you're eating your meals. So a lot of times we grew up, our mom says, hey, don't spoil your appetite, Rob, because don't eat your candy or your cookies or your cakes first because you're going to spoil your appetite. Well, that's true in the context of blood glucose and insulin, as you'll see. So what they did with these subjects is they looked at glucose, insulin, they looked at other markers as well. And what they did with the subjects is they had them either eat carbs first or carbs second. Now, in the context of the study, the carbs were ciabatta bread and orange juice. So probably not the ideal source of carbohydrates that I would want you to eat, but it gets the point across when you see the numbers. And then the protein was skinless chicken breast, broccoli with some butter, and then you got some salad, which essentially is PFF, protein, fats, and fiber, which I really try to advocate people eat the majority of the time. Now, what you'll see is that these top numbers here are dealing with, again, glucose, blood glucose, and then the bottom numbers here are dealing with insulin. So you'll see that there's trends. So you don't want to get caught up too much in the numbers, but the trends. So you'll see that they start out, but it's basically at the same, 106, 107, their glucose. But at the 60-minute mark, it's 199 with carbs first, and then it's 125.6 with carbs second. So you can see there's a pretty drastic difference in the amount of glucose that's elevated at about 60 minutes. And then at 120 minutes, it's still at the lower end, 169 versus 140. So from a glucose perspective and not having glucose constantly go high, it does pay to eat your protein, your fats, and your fiber first, and then have your carbohydrates. Now, the other thing with insulin is that we want to normally keep insulin at the lower end. The higher your insulin level is, it's not good for your health, inflammation, etc. And what they show is a definite trend again with lower insulin levels, and you can see that significantly at the 60-minute mark. It's 125.4 with carbs first, so ciabatta bread, orange juice first, and then having the reverse, which is your chicken breast, broccoli, butter, 63.2. So pretty much, less than half. So at the end of the day, if you're struggling with your blood glucose levels and they're going up and down, and or you have high glucose levels and they're not coming down over a period of time, but you're struggling to go with keto or a lower carbohydrate approach, and you feel like just mentally you have to have some carbohydrates and you can't go straight PFF, well, that's okay. So what you can do is change the order of your eating. So it's just the opposite effect of what our moms and grandmas and aunts and uncles told us, like, Rob, don't eat the cake, don't eat the cookies before you eat dinner. It's going to spoil your appetite because it spoils your body's response to glucose and insulin. So what you can do, especially in your transition of changing your diet from a pretty bad diet or really a lot of refined carbohydrates and other types of foods, is eat your protein, fats, and fiber, so PFF. Eat PFF first in your meal. So get your plate of chicken, your steak, your fish, your vegetables sauteed in avocado oil, butter, lard, whatever. Get a nice salad. Eat all that. And then if you're like, hey, I'm still really hungry because I trained a lot today or whichever, then have some rice or potatoes, obviously not ciabatta bread or orange juice. And then you'll come out the other end with lower glucose levels as well as lower insulin levels. So hopefully this gives you a little tool in your toolbox so that you can help control your blood sugar in the long run so that you can be healthy, have less inflammation, and really control your blood sugar for your health. Until next time, eat well to feel well.